Kathleen Rudolph, and today I am here with Larry Evans and Barbette Hunter. And Barbette is an infamous actor of the Triangle, and she has worked at Raleigh Little Theater as a teaching artist for over 15 years. So we have a nice long history. Larry, you've known Barbette for longer. Tell us about that.
Over 30 years.
Oh.
We were both very young. I just got a job in Raleigh editing videos, and Barbette was an actress in one of the industrial videos we first produced.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think I introduced myself because we had a mutual friend in theater, and that's how I got to know Barbette.
Yeah, Stacy.
Stacy, yes.
Yeah.
So funny.
Wow.
Wow. Small world.
Right.
Indeed.
Small world.
Indeed.
And Barbette acted in the short film I produced years ago.
Wow.
That's right. Yeah.
Wow. A walk down memory lane, Barbette.
Right.
Sure. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Larry, for that memory.
Yeah. So Barbette, when did you first get the acting bug?
Oh my goodness. I got the acting bug when I was very, very young. I would say probably maybe 6 years old. I got the acting bug, and I don't know where I got it from because there's no one in my family that is a entertainer, a performer, a musician, none of those things. But I can remember at an early age coming up with skits or choreographing dances, and then making my two sisters, be a part of those skits or teaching them all the choreography for the dances. Oh boy.
Love that.
I had a good time, but they did not. Yeah, I got bitten by the bug fairly young.
That's great.
Barbette, what was the first show you were in?
Oh my gosh, Larry, the first show. Ooh, I remember when I was younger, I would do like things at school, like in elementary school, middle grades, and junior high. We would do like little assemblies. I think that's what they were called then. I'm not sure what they call them now. And so I would perform in those assemblies, doing like little skits or short dance routines. And then when I got to high school, I started participating in the drama club, and I did a lot of plays there. The one that sticks out really vividly in my mind was Guys and Dolls.
Oh.
And I played the role of Miss Adelaide. That was a lot of fun. And that was in high school. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's great. That is great. So have you ever gotten any advice from anyone about acting? Any great advice?
I have gotten some really, really good. As I got older, some of my fellow actors would give me some really, really great advice when I was starting out. I remember I was I was in rehearsal for I think it might have been one of the 10 by 10s at the Art Center in Carborough way, way, way back in the day. And the director gave me a direction, and I just went way over the top, like out of control, just flailing my body and my arms and legs everywhere. And he was like, "Less is more." I was like, "Thank you. Thank you for that tip." And so I would bring it down. He was like, "Less is more." Wow. Less is more. So I always remember that advice. TK gave me that advice. He's also a fellow fraternity brother too. Mu Beta Psi. Whoop, whoop. So I always remember that great advice, and I've got some really great advice as my career progressed. When I was a student at NC State, one of my professors, I really, really appreciate her candor. She said, "Barbette, you are a wonderful singer, you're a wonderful dancer, but when it comes to acting, not so much." Needless to say, I was heartbroken. I kind of picked my jaw up off the floor and just kind of like, and so after that moment, I was like, okay, I'm going to do better. I'm going to become a better actress. So I started taking acting classes, and, paying money and traveling here and there to go to these acting classes, reading lots of books about acting, so that I could improve upon my craft. But I really, really, really appreciate that advice. Very, very candid. So Yes, it helped. It worked.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have a memory of maybe I made copies of that 10 by 10 festival. It was the year before you and I did our bit. But I think
Perhaps, yeah.
you mentioned I have a memory of watching you in full speed, in fast motion as I was copying it over. And I was watching you dance around the stage. I said, oh, there goes Barbette.
Yeah. Was it the one where I played God or I was an astronaut?
I'm not sure. It's been so long, you know.
Yes, I have played God.
I love that.
Loved it. It was a great role. And I think God, that particular version, I was blind. And also I had a physical disability, which was an interesting interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite theater or movie actor?
Oh my goodness. Wow. I do enjoy the work of Viola Davis. Oh my goodness, Angela Bassett. I do enjoy her work also. Wow, there's so many more. Gosh, I can't pick just one though,
Right.
because they all have their different way, their different essences of presenting, projecting, portraying a particular role.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great question. I have to think on that one some more.
What happened at your worst audition?
Wow. My worst audition, and I had to do some research to figure out what year that happened. It was in 2001. And this is a local theater company. They had just gotten started. And I went to audition and headshot, resume, I signed in, I got there early, ready to do my audition. And I walked into the audition room and they said, "What song are you going to sing?" And I said, "Excuse me? What song are you going to sing?" I did not realize that it was a musical. I had read the book that the show was based upon, loved the book, and then not realizing it was not, it was a musical, not a straight play. And I was like, I will not be singing a song. Thank you very much. I'm sorry to waste your time. Have a great day.
Wow.
And I just excused myself and left.
But you can
Yeah,
sing.
that was like one of the worst moments for me, walking into an audition for a musical and I thought it was a straight play. Did not do my homework. Lesson learned, people. Do your homework.
What is one of your favorite shows, Barbette, and why?
Oh my gosh, my favorite shows. You mean like TV or a movie or?
I guess I meant plays you performed in.
Oh, plays I performed in. Wow, Larry, that's a tough one because I have done so many different plays, short plays, 2 acts, musicals. Um, wow, one play that really sticks out in my mind and also in the public's mind, and I say that because I played the role of, the name of the play was Venus, um, about Hottentot, Sarah Bartman. And so that was a really challenging role for me because, well, if you don't know the story of Sarah, Sarah was a person of African descent, and she had very unusual, according to the European standards, physical features. And so she was put on exhibit in a freak show, circus shows. And so that was a character I portrayed. So I had to act out that play, moments in that character, pretty much in the nude. I had a loincloth that I wore when I wasn't wearing some type of burlap sack garment or some other garment that just kind of draped over me. But that one always sticks out in my mind's eye. And so sometimes when I'm out in the public, well, not now, but previously before this, I would see people staring at me. And I was like, oh, they remember me from the play because I spent a great deal of time wearing practically nothing. And sometimes people will come up and say, were you that woman that played Venus in? I was like, yes, that was me. Say no more. Awkward, because I'm nude, bare-breasted, long cloth the whole time. But that was a very, very remarkable and challenging
Mhm.
production for me. And it was a collaborative effort between Raleigh Ensemble players and Shaw University. So,
I would love to add a side note to that because
yes.
Barbette and I were hanging out a lot during that. And I remember just as her friend, I was really apprehensive about seeing the show. You know, about, wow, there's Barbette and she's going to be on stage exposed. But within like 2 minutes, I was just watching the character.
Yeah.
You were so great in the role that I didn't see Barbette anymore. You were playing the character.
Yeah. Thank you, Larry.
That's a
Thank you.
great compliment.
Yes, that
Yeah.
is fantastic. Thank you. With that role, I gradually introduced my nudity, my nakedness to the cast. So, as time progressed, rehearsal process progressed, I would wear smaller and smaller bits of clothing so that they could get used to seeing more and more skin until eventually, there was nothing there but a loincloth. And underneath the loincloth, of course, I wore proper undergarments. So I will not say any more than that. That's
There
it.
you go.
Is there a role that you've always wanted to play?
Yeah, Larry, there is. There is a role, and people are like, yeah, go for it now, Barbette. But I've always wanted to play, believe it or not, this is a classic show at Raleigh Little Theater. I've always wanted to play the role of the fairy godmother. Always, always. And so now that I've seen other iterations of the play, of that production, that musical, that holiday musical, I'm like, well, maybe I do have a chance. So the seed's been planted. It's been planted for many, many years now. So maybe one day you'll see me audition and hopefully get cast. So yeah, that's like one of my
That
favorites.
is great. That is
Ah,
great.
so much fun.
Yes. So we're on stage a lot with different types of people. What do you feel is the best type of actor to be successful with on stage?
Wow, the best type. I like to work with people that are kind and gracious, and they will problem solve,
Mhm.
without complaining, or fix something before it becomes a big, issue. And they're always looking out for everyone, the family, that idea of we, and we're working together as an ensemble. This is all about we, us, the team. Those are the type of actors that I like to work with.
That's right.
Yeah, makes my heart feel good when I work with
Mhm.
people like that.
Mhm.
Well, we all have best moments on stage. Do you remember one, or can you tell us what makes a moment amazing on stage?
Wow, Larry, that's a tough one for me. Um, oh my gosh. I'm about to cry thinking about it. I would say and this also goes back to the production Venus. There was a moment where the character dies. She has numerous diseases, physical ailments, and so the character dies on stage. And so for me, that was just such a tough moment to kind of be true to the character, but still portray it, also believably. And then I also had to remain there on stage until for quite some time. So that was a very rewarding and gratifying moment for me because I could feel the audience with me as I am traveling down this journey, going on this journey of, Sarah finding her peace and making her a transition to death. Um, and at that same time during that show, I forgot to mention this earlier, my grandmother had also had passed away.
Oh, wow.
So it was a challenge. It was a challenge, but I think the audience appreciated my efforts in that moment. Well, there were other precious moments in that show, but I think that was a moment where the audience was like, wow, what just happened here? What just did she just all this acting and then she expires, and to do it so graciously and realistically, it was a challenge, but yeah, that was a great moment for me.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
And look how it stuck with you. That's,
Right.
you
It
know,
did. It did.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Um,
Thank you, Larry.
wow. So let's lighten things up. What's the funniest thing that's ever happened on stage?
Wow.
Like, yeah.
Gosh, there's so many. There's so many. Let's see. When I was doing the Sunshine Boys at Temple Theater, I played the nurse, and of course, the nurse, and I was making my exit, one of my exits, and I reach for the doorknob, and the doorknob falls off. It just comes off in my hand, lands on the floor. It's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And I walk out of the door and I leave the doorknob on the floor, and I was like, ah. Another classic moment, and this one happened when I was in high school. I don't remember what show it was, unfortunately. But I was performing on stage, and I got ready to give a high kick, and my dance shoe flew off and goes out into the audience. I don't know if I injured anyone. If I did, I'm sorry. I apologize. But yeah, at that moment, I was traumatized. But now I look back at it, and I just fall out laughing. Fall out laughing, because that happens a lot in the classroom when I'm teaching the kids. They're wearing Crocs or sandals, and they start kicking. I was like, okay, let's get ready for the shoes to fly back and cover. But there have been so many wild and crazy funny moments. When I did Stick Up for Mars, that was part of the 10 by 10 play festival at the Arts Center. My character had this obsession with pencils and Post-it notes. And so I would take an ordinary pencil and then just stick it in my hair and then just kind of camouflage it. And as the play progressed, I would, find a pencil and pull it out and use it as a weapon, towards my scene partner, in that moment. Not a physical weapon, but more of a mental, aha, I have another pencil. And she'd take it from me. I'd pull out another pencil. But there was one moment where I could not find the pencils that I had in my hair. My hair was so big, huge afro. I was like, oh my God, where are the pencils? And I'm just scrambling, trying to find out all the pencils I had stashed in my hair. So
That's hysterical.
good times.
We should have asked, I have dreams about nightmares on stage all the time.
Ooh.
And that's not one of them, but mine's usually I forgot my lines, or we haven't blocked a show, or we're just improvising it. So
Yeah. I mean, I've never had an issue, in terms of I have forgotten my lines on stage. But usually I can, figure out and get my way back, but it's not like something that I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to forget my lines. That's something to think about as I get older. That might happen. But usually I will tell my castmates, I'm like, if I go up on the line, this is the look that's going to be on my face, and these are the words that I'm going to say. And usually I'll just repeat my line that I just said, and that will be their cue. Barbette has forgotten her line. She's gone up. And then they'll kind of like prime the pump for me, and then I'll pick up my lines and keep on going.
I just say line.
Yeah. Can't do that in a performance, friend. I wish I could. I wish.
I would have the actor's nightmare, because when I was in my senior year of college, I was in 4 different shows at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was touring 2 shows, and then I was doing 2 in the college, and they were all very different. Like I was an animal in one, I was a nurse, I was a singer, so I would have nightmares that I would be dressed as the animal when I was supposed to be the nurse, or things like that. So it was awful. The whole semester.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was awful.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
That's horrible. Yeah, I have been there. I mean, like you, Kathleen, I've been in several shows at the same time, but I've never, that would be a nightmare for me.
Yeah.
That would be a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Don't want to go down that. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
No.
Barbette, if you could go back in time to when you were very young and started performing on stage, what advice would you tell the younger self about?
I would tell my younger self, wow, wow, because there were so many missed opportunities for me when I was younger. I would say take advantage of those opportunities. I was afraid when I was younger. I was afraid. I didn't know any better. And so there was an opportunity where someone came to me and offered to give me free voice lessons. And, talked to my mom, my family about it. And I said no. And, this person is now famous and they've moved here to the Raleigh area and got their own dance studio, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, why did I say no? Fear. So in my younger self, I would say take advantage of those opportunities where people are saying, I would love to give you voice lessons. Let me give you acting lessons. Let me give you some advice, or perhaps allow me to be your mentor. That would be the advice I'd give to my younger self. Take advantage of all those opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's great.
If you couldn't be an actor, what other profession would you do in the theater arts?
Wow. Well, I'm doing that now, teaching artists. But if I couldn't be a teaching artist, and this is like my dream of all dreams, is to be like an executive director of a theater company that explores African American theater. Yeah, that presents African American theater.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my big dream.
Mm-hmm.
What's the first thing you want to do when life goes back to semi-normal?
Oh my gosh, the first thing I want to do, I want to go see a play. I want to be able to hug my students. Well, not really hug them because I'm kind of weird like that. But I want to be able to be in the same space with the students and hear them laughing and giggling and being silly and frolicking all over the place, and being able to do it with them. Yeah, those are the things I want to do.
That's great. I know it's very different teaching when they're all little cubes in front of you on the screen.
like Brady Bunch.
I know.
I can just imagine a student saying, I'm sorry, I'm a theater actor, not a TV actor. I'm sorry.
That's right.
That's true.
Can't break it down from Zoom.
And what I'm doing now, Larry, and you can appreciate this, I'm also incorporating some of the language that you need as a camera actor. And so, yeah, they're getting that aspect of it too. And I realized this today. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty much teaching them how to be a camera actor.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but Kathleen, I will go back and teach them how to be a stage actor too. But I want to take advantage of the technology and teach them that. Why not?
Absolutely. Barbette and I took this great workshop. I guess it was a theater for young audience, and it was a webinar, and they were teaching games that you can play on these Zoom kind of platforms. And yes, it was so cool because they were using the camera, and now you're off stage and now you're on, and it's just great. So we are kind of changing our ways to continue this adventure.
Yes, for sure. I love it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This was amazing. It was so great to see you and to hear all your replies, because they were just so fascinating. You've led a great life already, very fascinating life. So thank you again for joining us. That was just wonderful. And I look forward to seeing both of you in person.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Thanks, Larry.
Thanks, Barbette.